Hello friends, in this video we shall discuss some of the important MCQs that are curated as per the demand of the UPSC and various other state BCS. So our first question is regarding the Bunjul formula. Now the first question states that the Bunjul formula is related to. The first statement is G20 Forum, ASEAN, African Union, BIMSTEC. Now, what is the correct answer of the given question? So the correct answer of the given question is African Union. The Bunjul formula, it is related to the African Union. Now, if I talk about this question more, so there was a India Africa summit, okay, and this collaboration, this summit, the first commenced in the year of 2008. So the first part of the meeting takes place in the year of 2008, and this meeting takes place in every 3 years. Okay, now recently this meeting has also taken place, and the Bunjul formula has adopted in the African Union in 2006. So basically this Bunjul formula, it is somehow related to the African Union, and this shows the ties between the India and African Union. Now moving on the next question. Now next question talks about which of the followings are the conducive for the onset of the monsoon in India. That what are the functions of the onset of the monsoon of India? The first is the westerly winds over the southern Arabian Sea. Next, increase in the depth of the western winds up to the middle tropospheric level. The third is the increase in the cloudiness over the area covering the southeast Arabian Sea, Lakshadweep and the Kerala coast. Now which one of the following statement is correct? So the correct answer is C. That means all the statements are correct. The question talks about that what are the conducive for the onset of the monsoon in India. We have yesterday talked about this question also, that what are the functions for the onset of or the commencement of the monsoon. The first statement says that the westerly winds over the South Arabian Sea. If this is the Indian Peninsula, so you know that this is the onset of the monsoon. The first monsoon comes from the southwest of India, okay, and before that I also told you that this is near about May end, okay, but in the May of 15 to 20 the monsoon already reached in the Andaman and Nicobar, okay. The next statement says that increase in the depth of the westerly winds up to the middle tropospheric level. Now this statement is again correct. The third statement says that the increase in the cloudiness over the area covering the southeastern Arabian Sea, Lakshadweep and the Kerala coast. So this statement is also correct. When there will be increase in the cloudiness in these area, this will leads to the onset of the monsoon, because as you know, as there will be warm air, so warm air will rise up, and this warm air that will rise up will form the cloud. So the result of the formation of the cloud happening from the evaporation of the warm air or warm water, okay. So hence all the three statements are correct. Now moving on the third question. Consider the following statements. No cyclones in the Arabian Sea have formed during the onset phase of the Indian summer monsoon. Next statement, a weak onset monsoon results in the formation of the cyclone. Third statement, about 90% of very severe and super cyclones over the Arabian Sea strikes during the May, June and November. Now which one of the following is the correct answer of the given question? So the correct answer of the given question is B. That is, out of the given three statements, only two statements are correct. Now let us discuss these statements in more details. The first statement says that the No cyclones in the Arabian Sea have formed during the onset phase of the Indian summer monsoon. Now you should know this thing, that mostly the cyclones formed after the onset of the monsoon. Okay, the cyclones and the monsoon impact each other actually. Okay, so if there is a cyclone cannot be formed if there is a strong monsoon. Okay, so cyclone cannot be formed if there is a strong monsoon. Okay, so this is the condition, because if there is a very strong monsoon, so as I said, that if there's a very strong monsoon, so this very strong monsoon will blow away the cyclones. So the weak onset of the monsoon results in the formation of the cyclones. Okay, so this statement is correct. Okay, so this you should know, if there's a weak that if there is a weak onset of the monsoon, this will result in the formation of the cyclones. And if you talk about the weak onset of the monsoon, so what could be the reason of the weak onset of monsoon? Okay, as you know, in this year there's a weak onset of monsoon. Why there's a weak onset of monsoon? Because this time we are having the El Nino. Okay, El Nino. So El Nino, because of the El Nino, there's a weak onset of the monsoon. La Nina brings more rain to the India, and El Nino brings less rain or the drought conditions to the India. Okay, and also if there's a negative ocean dipole movement, this will also bring the weak onset of the monsoon to the India. But thank God, this year we are having the positive Indian ocean dipole movement. So in this year we are having the El Nino and positive Indian dipole moment. This is bad for India, but this is good for India. So the whole equilibrium will be near about in a balanced manner. The next statement says that the weak onset of the monsoon results in the formation of the cyclone. As I told you, if there is a strong monsoon, this will not result in the formation of the cyclone. So if there's a weak monsoon, this will result in the formation of the cyclone. So hence the second statement is correct. The third statement says that about 90% of very severe and super cyclones over the Arabian Sea strikes during the May, June and November. Now this statement is correct, because near about 70% of the tropical cyclones and 90% of the very severe super cyclones over the Arabian Sea strikes during the May, June and November. So this statement you should know. Okay, now moving on the next question. The next question talks about the government provides nutrient-based subsidy NBS which of the following fertilizer? The first is phosphorus, urea and potassium. Now which one of the following is correct statement? So the correct statement of the given question is B. That is, out of the given 3 options, only 2 options are correct. Now if you talk about the nutrient based subsidy, so the meaning of the nutrient based subsidy is that government want to provide the nutrients to the soil for the soil good health. Now if you talk about the nutrients, there are basically 3 types of nutrient: N, P, K. Okay, nitrogen, phosphorus or potassium, and they are in the ratio of 4:1. And urea is not there in the nutrient based subsidy. So this second statement is incorrect. Hence 2 pairs are correct. Moving on the next question. This question talks about the GDP and the GVA. Consider the following statement regarding the GDP, that is the gross domestic product, and GVA, that is the gross value addition. The first statement says that the GDP is equal to GVA plus subsidy minus tax. The next statement says if the tax earned by the government are more than the subsidy it provides, the GDP will be higher than the GVA. Now which one of the following is incorrect statement? So the correct answer of the given question is A. That is, out of these 2 statements, the first is incorrect one and second is the correct one. Now if you look at the formula of the GDP, So GDP is equal to GVA plus, if you talk about the tax minus subsidy. Okay, GDP is equal to GVA, that is the gross value addition, plus tax minus subsidy. Now, but in this question here it is written that subsidy minus tax, but it should be tax minus subsidy. Why? Because the tax the government will take will be more than the subsidy. Okay, so this is the exact formula for the calculation of the GDP. GDP is everything that is finally produced in India. Okay, the next statement says if the tax earned by the governments are more than the subsidy it provides, the GDP will be higher than the GVA. Now this statement is correct, because if the tax earned by the government are more, if the tax earned means this amount, अगर ये जो amount है ये amount ज़्यादा हो जाए, let's say if this amount become more, then what will happen? The difference of this will be less. Okay, if the tax increases, so the difference of the tax and subsidy will reduce, and hence the value of the GDP will increase, and hence overall in terms of the number, in terms of the quantity, the value of the GDP will be more than the GVA. So hence the second statement is correct. So A will be the correct option. Next statement, consider the following statement regarding the physical prudence. The first statement says that the physical prudence implies the spending excess to create the demand in the economy. Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act, that is the FRBM Act of 2003, institutionalized the concept of the physical prudence. Now, which one of the following statement is incorrect? So the correct answer of the given question is A. That is, out of the given two statements, the first is incorrect and the second is correct. Now, look at the statement. What is the meaning of first, the physical prudence? The physical prudence means the spending within the budget. Spending within budget. Okay, so whatever the government is spending within the budget will comes under the physical prudence. Okay, now the statement says that the physical prudence implies the spending excess to create the demands in the economy. Now this statement is incorrect, because the literal meaning of the physical prudence is just the spending within the budget. The second statement says that the Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act, that is the FRBM Act of 2003, institutionalized the concept of the physical prudence. Now this statement is correct. Government introduced the FRBM Act with the objective to institutionalize the physical prudence and reduce the country's fiscal deficit in such a manner that the country gradually moves towards the balancing the budget. हमें क्या करना है? We have to reduce the fiscal deficit. So that's why for that purpose the FRBM Act was there, ताकि गवर्नमेंट की जो रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट, जो फिजिकल डेफिसिट है उसको क्या कर सके, उसको रिड्यूस कर सके. There's one more term that you should know. It is the twin deficit. Twin deficit. This means the physical deficit minus current account deficit. Current account deficit. So this is the twin deficit. If there's a difference between the physical deficit and the current account deficit, it is known as the twin deficit. Okay. Now moving on to the next question. Consider the following statement regarding the significance of the mangroves. Mangroves forest consist of the trees, shrubs and lives in the intertidal water in the coastal areas. Next statement is the mangrove forest can both aid in the removal of the carbons from the atmosphere and prevents the release of the same upon the destruction. They also supports the rich food web. Now which one of the following statement is correct? So the correct answer of the given question is D. That is, all the statements given are correct. You should know that mangroves are called the lungs of the world. Lungs of the world. And there is one more term, the wetland. wetlands are the kidneys of the world, because the mangroves basically what they do, they basically secrete so much of oxygen, so that's why they call the lungs of the world. And the wetlands, they just filter a lot of the gray water, lot of the bad water, so that's why they called the kidneys of the world, because the filtration is the purpose of the kidney, hence the filtration is the purpose of the wetland too. Okay, now the first statement says that the mangrove forest consists of the trees, shrubs, and lives in the intertidal water in the coastal area. Now this statement is correct, and they also helps in the from the high waves of the sea. The next statement is the mangrove forest can both the aid in the removal of the carbon from the atmosphere and prevents in the release of the same upon the destruction. Now both the statements are correct. The third statement says that they support the rich food web. They are also correct, because they are, you can say, at the ecotone. What is the meaning of ecotone? Ecotone means, let's say there's a land and there's a water. So if there's a two स्फेयर ऑफ द लिविंग थिंग, मतलब कि दो स्फेयर्स हैं, उन दोनों स्फेयर्स को जहाँ पर वो दोनों इकोसिस्टम, दिस इज़ द इकोसिस्टम ऑफ लैंड, दिस इज़ द लैंड इकोसिस्टम एंड दिस इज़ द वाटर इकोसिस्टम, and where the both ecosystem join together is known as the ecotone. So hence the D is the correct answer. Now third statement, consider the following statement. The first is the geosynchronous satellite has an orbital period of the same as the earth rotational period. Next, geostationary orbits is a geosynchronous orbit with an inclination of the 0, meaning it lies on the equator. The third statement is all the geosynchronous satellites are the geostationary. Now which one of the following is the correct? So the correct answer of the given question is B. That is, out of the given 3 statements, 2 statements are correct. Let us see which statement is correct and which is incorrect. The first statement says a geosynchronous satellite has an orbital period of the same as the earth rotation period. Now this statement is correct. The geosynchronous सैटेलाइट हैज़ दी ऑर्बिटल पीरियड ऑफ द सेम एज दैट ऑफ द अर्थ रोटेशन, यानी कि उसका जो ऑर्बिटल पीरियड होगा इट विल बी इक्वल टू द अर्थ रोटेशन पीरियड, मीन्स 24 आवर्स. द नेक्स्ट इज द जियो स्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट is a geosynchronous orbit with an inclination of the 0, meaning it lies on the equator. Now this statement is also correct. The geosynchronous orbit takes a satellite around the earth at the rate of 1 per day, keeping it roughly the same over the ground. ठीक. The next statement is all the geosynchronous satellites are the geostationary satellite. Now this statement is incorrect, because all the geostationary satellites is geosynchronous satellite but not the vice versa, यानी कि जो सारी geostationary satellites हैं could be geosynchronous but not the vice versa. So hence the statement 1 and 2 is correct, so B is the correct option. Now consider the following statement regarding the SEWA, that is the Self-Employed Women's Association. The first statement says that the SEWA is a trade union that promotes the right of the low-income independent employed female workers. Next, it is affiliated by the Union Ministry of Labor and Employment. SEWA Bank was established to provide the small loans to the poor women, an initiative that was recognized by the International Labour Organization as the microfinance movement. Now which one of the following is the correct answer? So the correct answer of the given question is B. That is, out of the given 3 statements, 2 are correct. The first statement is correct, that it is a trade union that promotes the right of the low income independent employed female workers. The second statement is incorrect because it is not affiliated by the Union Labour and Employment Ministry. Rather than it has been set up in the year of 1972 by the Ella Bhatt. So basically this you should know. So बेसिकली इसका जो ओरिजिन है इट वॉज सो अर्लियर एंड इवन देयर वाज अ कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द गांधी जी टू इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ दिस एसोसिएशन. ओके, सो देयर इज नथिंग that is related to the Union Ministry of Labor and Employment. So hence the second statement is incorrect. The third statement says that it is a सेवा बैंक established किया गया था by providing the small loans to the poor women, and this initiative was recognized by the ILO also. Okay, so this statement is correct. So hence B is the correct option. The fifth statement is the Code of the Criminal Procedure, that is the CRPC, provides for the examination of the accused through which of the following? The first is the DNA profiling, blood and the semen test, brain fingerprinting and the narco test. Now which one of the following is the correct answer? So the correct answer of the given question is B. That is, out of the given 4 statements, only 2 are correct. The question is asking in the CRPC what provides the examination of the accused. So if you want to do the examination of the accused, if there is some accused, so what are the process or what from which method we could examine the accused? The first is the DNA profiling. Now this is correct. The DNA profiling is included in the CRPC. Okay. The next is the blood and the semen sample. Now blood and semen sample is also included in the CRPC. And third is the brain fingerprinting and narco analysis. Now these 2 tests are not included in the CRPC, and even the Supreme Court in the Selvi versus State of Karnataka 2010 held that the to testimonial compulsion, if you are compulsing someone for the testimonial purpose, so it will be not valid or it will be void. So the Supreme Court want to say in the Selvi versus State of Karnataka 2010 that there should be proper consent of the accused. Without consent, if you are taking the, let's say if you are doing the brain fingerprinting or the narco, so this will be prohibited under the Article 23, that is under the protection of the criminal for the conviction and offences under the Article 23. So this will be void. Okay, so this you should know, and these tests basically fall under the CRPC section 53 you should know, and section 311A you should know. Okay, so these 2 sections you should know from here. Okay, so this is it. Till then we'll see you in the next video. अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगा, just let me know in the comment section. Please like the video, share the video with your friends. अगर आपको अच्छा लग रहा है, do let me know so that it encourages me to make more videos. Till then, take care, goodbye, thank you, Jai Hind.